Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Mother-in-Law Stories. Having your spouse or significant other not stand up or defend you to their parents is a red flag, like some people say. Can this be addressed or corrected? Well, that's the topic for our first story, so let's get started. Disclaimer, the text that I am reading is one that I curated from both the original post and the comment section of that original post. This all happened before the bug and the lockdown. This is from user Need Some Help 34. Me, 34 male, with my wife, 36 female, married for 9 years. Mother-in-law, 65, has been passive-aggressively attacking for 2 years. Tried to break us up. I just need a break with the kids on the holidays. Some context. My mother-in-law and I are not on good terms. I have offered peace multiple times. One time it was directly rejected. Other times it has been ignored. This stems from a fight I had with my wife. That fight led to my mother-in-law finding out my wife is an atheist, and that's a problem. You see, my mother-in-law is very religious and now thinks her daughter won't be with her in heaven. She blames me for her daughter being an atheist. She has said as much to my wife, but since apologized to her, but not to me. My mother-in-law thinks I'm brainwashing her. I'm not kidding, she said that. I then found out that my wife had been reporting to mother-in-law about our life. But when she did, she would only tell her side of things and leave out parts. So of course her mom wouldn't like me. This lasted 7 years, but stopped since I found out. Of course, mother-in-law was not happy. Anyways, regarding her being an atheist, her father has let it go, but her mother has not. I have tried, I really have. I even once went to counseling with mother-in-law. In that session, she said that if she had adopted the lifestyle my wife had, and her parents had found out, she would have slit her wrists. She has since apologized. I have slowly removed myself from events because mother-in-law won't talk to me, unless I'm fixing her iPad. For Mother's Day, I bought my wife, my daughter, and my mother-in-law $300 tickets to a concert they all love. I got a letter in the mail from mother-in-law as a form of thank you. In it, she reminded me to respect my wife and stop fighting. Also, that my wife's lying was because I wasn't giving her a safe space. That's not true. My fights with my wife were about her lying. She also made a point of saying how this Mother's Day was different to the one 2 years ago, when she was trying to break me and my wife up because of her atheism. During that time, my wife wasn't talking to her, but my mother-in-law eventually apologized to my wife for trying to break us up. She has never said a word to me though. Eventually, I had it. I told my wife I was fine with her and the kids going to see her family, but if mother-in-law was there, I wouldn't go with them. And in the case of holiday get-togethers, I would prefer that the kids stay at home with us because I don't want to stress out on holidays. That said, that was only if it was in a family member's home. If it was in a public place like a park or something, I was willing to go. However, as soon as mother-in-law starts treating me civilly, everything goes back to normal. I am not asking for an apology, just to be treated civilly. And that leads us to today. There is a big party at my sister-in-law's wife's sister lake house with family visiting from several parts of the country. So on Friday, my wife asks to go, as she apparently forgot about my stance. I said I wouldn't go. We talked it out and she decided not to go either. After a few hours and for the rest of the weekend, she acted very short with me and we did not talk about the lake house trip at all. This morning, she said that she thought that it wasn't fair to keep the kids from her side of the family. So, she wants to take them to see the family for a few hours this afternoon. I pointed out that she could have brought that up at any moment during the weekend before this morning. And all that just doesn't sit right. Where is our problem? What should I do? Info. My wife is aware of this post. I suggested a third-party look and she is open to it, so she will be following the post and comments. Additional info. In a session with our counselor, I mentioned that I was losing respect for my wife because of her lying. Our counselor basically went off on me and said that I should never say anything like that. I asked when can I mention this and was told never and to keep it to myself. The counselor and I got into an argument over that because she said it was my responsibility for feeling as though I was losing respect. We went back and forth and eventually she said she couldn't help us anymore. I want to read all the comments and discussions, have my wife read them and then decide. Now, I don't want to alienate my wife with my responses in the comments, so I'll only be replying with facts or clearly stating my opinion. Finally, civility. I ask you all, please do not call my wife names. She will dismiss any discussions on this thread where people call her names. So that's basically the setup of the problem that OP has at this moment. His mother-in-law treats him like crap, and his mother-in-law has a big influence on his wife, and that makes her lie to him or agree to things and then not follow through. So he's on Reddit with his wife asking for input. So now we're going to continue with the update to finish up this story. Well, I always hate it when people don't update, so here's the update. My wife seemed pretty frustrated with me throughout the day yesterday. She didn't start fully reading the comments until the evening. As expected, the issue with name calling threw her off, but luckily, enough people overwhelmingly saw that my mother-in-law was being manipulative and that my wife needed to stick up for me in order for our marriage to be healthy. We put the kids to sleep and started talking. It wasn't a great conversation. In my opinion, she was rather hostile. One of my issues has been the way she apologizes. For example, a few weeks ago, she accidentally hit me in the back while horsing around and was super sorry and apologetic for the rest of the day. But when she apologizes for lying and breaking promises, it's totally different. I asked her about this, why this difference in the way she apologizes, and she responded that it was pretty messed up that she does that, but nothing changed. In addition, and I know this is rather subjective and I could be totally off, but it's the way she looks at me sometimes. Maybe I'm imagining it, but she looks through me when it seems as though she's mad, like I'm not even there or I'm a hassle. I asked her what was up last night and why was she looking at me that way and what was she feeling. She responded that it wasn't anger, it was just pure apathy. I stated that she was punishing me and siding with her mom and asked her to please tell me how that was fair. She kept trying to sidestep it, until I pointed out that every person in our post, save for 2, said that her mom was the root of the problem and how my wife was handling it was also part of the problem. She said that she doesn't care, or something to that effect. So I persisted in asking if she thinks the way she treats me when it comes to her mom is acceptable, because if she doesn't care, then it is. She said it's not acceptable and began to open up a bit. I went back to the post and said that everyone, save for the same 2 people, said this isn't a me issue, it is a them, wife and mother-in-law issue. I told her there was nothing more I could do. She stated that I deprived the kids of a couple of hours of seeing their family. I again pointed out that it wasn't me that did that, it was her and her mom. We went back to the post and the comments, saw the arguments, she couldn't validate her position, and then apologized. In addition, people pointed out that I was giving mother-in-law exactly what she wanted by not being there. The fact that my kids could be influenced without me seeing it scared the crap out of me. I will now accompany them to all outings with the mother-in-law and stay by my kids as much as possible. My mother-in-law doesn't deserve to get what she wants, and my kids potentially need my protection since, in my opinion, my wife can't see if her mom is starting to abuse or manipulate the kids. I had also arranged a weekend getaway for our 10-year anniversary this coming weekend. It was about $1,500. Considering she's feeling apathy towards me at the moment, I don't think we should go. I think right now that money's better spent on a month's tuition for one of our kids' schools. So I cancelled the trip and told my wife that we could reschedule it at some point in the future. Not sure of the time frame yet. I have also contacted a cognitive behavioral therapist that specializes in couples, addiction, PTSD, and interpersonal relationships as was suggested in the previous post. I love my wife, I do, but I'm tired of being treated like this. I don't want to divorce her, and I am hoping that she steps up and decides to actually be my partner, but that is entirely up to her. The only things I can control to a degree are my mental health and the mental health of our kids. I'm pretty sure that's about it. Any further suggestions would be appreciated. Is there anything that was missed? Okay, so far the post has somewhat helped. The wife did apologize, although she hasn't owned up to it yet, and that is what OP wants. And on that point, we are now going to move on to the final update to see how everything unraveled. So, after the kids got down to bed, it was my wife's turn. We alternate every day because we both love reading to them. My wife came and gave me a giant hug. She stated that she couldn't really explain the exact moment, but at some point yesterday, after reading the posts and comments, you all got through to her. She fully 100% apologized. Way different apology than she has ever given. She said she recognizes that her mom is being the bad guy here 100%. She said that all day yesterday, all the words and arguments that people made just kept making more and more sense. There is a lot of work to be done, therapy and all that, but my wife said that she is fully on my side now and apologized for not recognizing all this even though I've been telling her for ages. She is actively working on that and has a plan for therapy. I'm still cautious, but things were way different. Thank you all so much. And there you go, the community helped out and the wife was able to see that her mom was the real issue here and she got out of the fog. This is the last piece of information that OP has given us. So at this point, we can only hope that OP and his wife have strengthened their marriage and have either finally gone no contact with the mother-in-law or they have confronted her and made her change the way she treats OP. Alright, so now we move on to the next story. What would you do if your mother-in-law is banking on your significant other to die? Well, that is the very strange situation of our next OP. This one is from user mother-in-law want life insurance. My 25 female, mother-in-law 45 female wants to put $1 million life insurance policy on my husband, 27 male, and didn't want me to know. Okay, this is going to sound crazy. Believe me, I know it is. That's why I'm asking for advice. So, my husband and I have been married a little less than a year and together for 7 years. My mother-in-law is pretty insane. She is a hoarder, extremely needy towards her son, a liar, and willing to do anything to make any situation full of drama and about her. I really do not know where to begin with this. My husband's mother has always been off. So we have kept her at arm's length in our lives for that very reason. She is a hoarder, always trying to get money out of people, and plays the woe is me card to get sympathy. Well, this morning she called my husband and has been talking about opening up a life insurance policy on him for about $1 million. She wants to pay into this 100% and be the sole beneficiary to the policy. Now, my husband is an extremely healthy man, and his mother is not. She is overweight, has diabetes, and does not take any medication for it or attempt it to improve her lifestyle for it. She is not in any way dependent on us or even lives near us. She is about a 3-hour drive away and she lives with her mother. My husband found the entire thing extremely amusing, but it has me extremely uneasy. She knows his social and information. I'm sure if she wanted to, she could easily do this. But the thing that rubs me the wrong way is she keeps saying, I want to make sure I am financially set when you die. Says nothing about the family he is creating or anything. She just wants to make sure she can take care of herself with all that money when he's dead. Like it is a for sure thing he is going to be dead rather soon so she can bank in on it. She also told him, make sure you don't tell your wife. You know how people get when they find out you have a hefty life insurance policy. You wouldn't want her to try and murder you. Seriously, what the F? I really don't know what to do. I have tried explaining we need to go no contact to my husband, but he keeps saying I shouldn't worry because there isn't anything she can do, and to just ignore it and she'll find another get-rich-quick scheme. I guess I'm just looking for advice on what I can do. I mean, can she do that? Should we allow it? What do you guys think? Edit. We also plan on getting our own health insurance for each other in case anything happens to us, so our kids will be okay when we have children. Okay, so before we continue with the update, we're going to go through a couple of community advice and questions, and then we're going to move on. My opinion is valid says, I fear for him, but I watch a lot of ID channel. OP responds, right? I watch so many of those types of shows and my husband is saying I'm just paranoid. Carrie, 19 says, $1 million policy would be very expensive. Can she afford that? To get a policy like that, I'm pretty sure the insurance company would require your husband to go through a physical exam. He could just refuse. OP responds, I don't think she could afford it and keep up with the payments, honestly. She does have a full-time job, but she is a hoarder and is horrible with money. She keeps telling him that she wants to invest in his life insurance because it will make her financially stable when he dies. He is only 27 and is very healthy. This is what is extremely bothersome about the situation. Alright, well, how would you react to that, being either in OP's shoes or the husband's shoes? If my mom would have called me up and said something like this mother-in-law said to her son, I would have called her crazy on the spot and said no way, but this guy just laughed it off. In any case, we have an update, so let's continue with that. Well, today while I was out with my husband running errands, his mother continued to call him and text him. He has been ignoring her since the issue of her trying to get him to allow her to take out a $1 million life insurance policy on him. One of her texts finally got him to call her, which was her telling him she had been in a car accident over the weekend. So he calls her and she tells him about how she supposedly fell asleep at the wheel of her car and hit a cement median, ruining the passenger door and side of the car. And she ends up trying to request that he puts her car on his insurance as his car now and give her permission to drive it so that she does not have to pay the increased insurance prices that her insurance is charging her now. What the F, right? Well, when he tells her he is not going to be doing that, they started to get into a heated argument and she brings up the life insurance policy again. Well, in the midst of it, as some of you had predicted, he called her out saying, I bet you're just planning on taking out a loan on the health insurance so you can get rich quick. And Reddit, she admitted to it. She told him that was her plan all along. She was going to take out the life insurance policy, pay it for a few months until she could take out a large loan against it and then stop paying. My jaw just dropped when she proudly admitted to it. Well, my husband told her off and now we're going no contact. He is extremely angry and has basically said she has ruined any relationship they could have possibly had with one another. I am honestly very sad for my husband. I know it must be hard having a mother who cares only about herself, but luckily, he does have his father and stepmother who have been very loving and supportive throughout this whole situation. I just thought I should update you all since a lot of you predicted this is what was going to happen. Thank you everyone for your advice. My husband and I plan on taking out life insurance policies on each other as we move forward from this and will be going no contact with his mother from now on. Wow, that mother-in-law is a piece of work, man. It's a good thing they're going no contact, and just like OP, I feel kinda sad for the husband that he's got to realize his mother sucks. Yikes. Okay, well, we've reached the end of the video. I truly hope that you guys liked it. If you did, please go ahead and click like. If you still haven't subscribed, then go ahead and click subscribe with the bell so you get notified when I upload a new video. Also, here you'll find 4 different videos, 2 from Lost Genre, which is this channel, and 2 from my other channel, LG Reddit AITA, a channel focused exclusively on Am I the A-hole? So go ahead and give that channel a try. Alright, and having said all that, I will see you guys in the next video.